Stevie Watts, Hillbilly Metal Detecting. What's up, guys? Just finally had a chance to sit down and let y'all see some of the stuff I found. I just briefly showed some of it. It's cloudy outside today, but there's an old creek down behind this house. I just talked to my neighbor behind me, and I'm gonna go down there and hunt some stuff up out of that old creek bed later on. Even though it's cloudy outside, maybe you can see here in East Tennessee. But I'm gonna let y'all see some of the stuff I found real quick, and it's it's nothing spectacular, but some of it's pretty cool. Uh, this right here, I think it's a Tootsie Toys car. I don't know how old it is. Tootsie Toys made cars quite a long time, and found that in the ground. Thought that was pretty cool. There's some of the others I found. Hot Wheels of 77. I think this is from 78, 77, somewhere around there. It's a Jaguar, looks like. There's a couple more in pretty bad condition. They've been in the ground a long time. Couple of cap guns. This one right here I found in front of the house, beside the house, and in the back of the house. Kept finding different pieces of it. Don't understand that, but I did. Uh, that right there is a Roy Rogers pendant. It's from the 50s. That little shoe right there, that's a Monopoly game piece. Vintage. I think it's from the early 60s. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think these are fishing sinkers. I don't know. Two bells I found. I just found this the other day in a hole with a coin, and my girlfriend got online and Googled it, whatever, and it's a vintage Barbie doll head from the '60s. Yep, I didn't find the body. Of course, there's no metal in it. I found that on a fluke. Got lucky finding that. That's a cool little cap gun. Found it out in the yard. It's probably one of my girlfriend's brothers. I think it's from the early '70s. Z Toys, I think, the name of the company that made it. It's a cool little piece. A good little find. It still works. It still cocks, shoots. Action still good on it. Cool little find. I was thrilled when I found that little thing. This metal detection's addictive, people. Bunch of old bullets. I think some of them from a muzzle loader. I'm not sure. Old shotgun caps. I know that one right there is real old. It's old. Those are old ones. I've never heard of American Eagle, and I've shot guns all my life. This right here, it was very deep in the ground. That's a grape shot. I imagine from a canister. That's the only thing. I mean, I've got on there and looked and looked and looked. It's an old piece of lead. I know that much. It's got the little hole in the end of it. If anybody can give me a heads up on what that is, I think it came out of a canister. Grape shot out of a canister. Civil War. I mean, this is Anderson County, Tennessee. There's some old stuff around here. And there were battles in Campbell County, which is right up the road. There's an old Mayfield milk lid. I called my dad, and he don't remember those. He's almost 80 years old. But people said it was a pretty old lid that had it in glass jugs. Some bottle caps. They're not that old, but I remember them growing up. Little Mountain Dew. I found these two steel bottle caps. There, of course, there's nothing on them, but I kept them. Found 3 live 22 rounds in the ground. Chunks of lead. Now this right here, this key, this is crazy right here. It's got an inscription on it. It's upside down. I found it buried in the ground out beside this house, close to the foundation. And went and tried to talk to my neighbor this morning. She didn't. She said the Wallaces lived here. Looks like it says for J. Wallace, J.W. May 7th, 1942. I don't think it's a real key. It's decorative. It's not sure, but it's buried deep. Found it with my $99 Bounty Hunter Tracker 2 metal detector. That thing's cool. Somebody put that in the ground with an inscription on it. And I don't know that much about it. But my neighbor, Kathy, she took my phone number. She's going to have her brother call me. She said he's a historian. So that's the senior key somebody dropped in this yard. I found it in the front yard from 1975, Clinton, Tennessee High School. Clinton Dragons here in Anderson County. There's no initials on the back of it like people usually do. I know I had one from Anderson County High School. It had my initials on it. This doesn't. No initials. It's from the class of 1975. Jostens. So I don't know that much about it either. Somebody dropped their senior key. It belongs to somebody from Clinton, Tennessee that went to high school in 1975, which I think is very cool. Found this in the ground. It's a U.S. President's game that the Shell Gas Company had in the 60s, and it was wildly popular. Yeah, wildly popular. I got on the internet and read up about it. Shell's Mr. President coin game. So that's from the late 60s. Somebody dropped it, probably my girlfriend's daddy. Of course, there's fund money from Burger Chef, which Hardee's bought them out. Hardee's bought them out, and it's good for 5 cents off of a meal. Wow, 5 cents. I guess back in the 60s, that was a lot of money. Of course, I was born in 68, so I don't remember. But this was an interesting find. Found this in the yard. This man was the sheriff in wherever Clarksville is. I think it's Montgomery County. I think above Nashville. Paul Neblett. This is Anderson County. I lived in Nashville, and Clarksville's above Nashville, so that's 3 hours away from here. How I got in this yard, I found it out by the big old tree out here, deep in the ground, with my $99 Bounty Hunter Tracker 2 metal detector. It's a cheap one. I'll put it up against any metal detector. These big boys, the Hoover boys, all these other big guys on here with their big thousands of dollars equipment. I'm finding stuff just like they are with the $99 metal detector. I mean, I'm not going to pay thousands of dollars for a Garrett or one of those other big high-class models. Don't need it. $100 and you're in the game. Found 3 of these buttons. They're cloth covered. I found one in the front yard. And then I was sitting down the other night and told my girlfriend, I was like, I'm going to go out and look. See, I just got a feeling there's another button out there. Found that one in the backyard. Then I found this one on the side of the house. 3 buttons of the same kind off of the same coat, I would imagine. Don't know anything about it. They had something on the back of it. It's rusted beyond recognition. I can't get anything off of it. If anybody knows anything about these, let me know. Obviously, it was a young boy out here roughhousing, playing football, whatever in the yard. Tore his buttons off 3 different times, and they sat there and went in the ground. This I don't know that much about. It's a button I found where my girlfriend's mom used to have a clothesline. I started working it, and as far as I can tell, it's a military button. All I could gather was it's from World War II. I don't know anything about it. If anybody does, let me know. That's the eagle with arrows in one claw and I don't know, wheat, whatever's in the other one. But it looks old. I'm not sure how old. All I came up with was World War II. There's an old lock. It's got some writing on it, but I can't make out what it is. Pieces of lead, copper, different stuff I found. I found a whole lot more than this. A bunch of trash, of course. But that's pretty much it that I found. This is one of my girlfriend's mom's old spoons. It's stainless steel, but it means something to her. She remembers the spoons when she was growing up. Found a couple old keys. One of those on Etsy was $35. Some old keys her dad probably dropped. Don't know what they go to. A Fortress company is on one of the keys. Fortress Lock Company. You can still buy them. I don't know how old these are. Couple of buttons. Don't know much about them either. That's an old Colgate Gardol, and it's from the early '50s. Tube of toothpaste. And finally, there's a thing for the end of a water hose. It's solid brass. That thing's heavy as lead. I imagine it still works. I'm gonna put it on my hose next spring. I think it's from the 50s or 60s. They don't never wear out. It was buried deep in the ground. Big old chunk of lead. I found that the other day. Big old heavy chunk of lead. Don't know what they did with that, but somebody had it, dropped it, and it went in the ground. But that's it, guys. That's what I found. Don't know what that is either. It's got a 1 and a 2 on it. Couple little lead sinkers I found. One of them might be buckshot. I'm not sure. That's it. That's what I've got. And I've only been to one place since I started metal detecting, right here in this yard. Hadn't been anywhere else. Some of those shells back there, a friend of mine, he's a gun enthusiast. He's a gun nut. And he said some of them were brought home from World War II, made in the late 30s. They had the date on them. But yeah, guys, there's my channel, Hillbilly Metal Detecting. I'm trying to get started. I'm going back behind here. We live out in the country, and there's an old wagon trail back here too, but they say it's washed out. I'm going to try to find that eventually. Probably not today, but I'm going to run back here and check out Johns Creek, and maybe I'll find something. But you guys will see it if I do. Please hit subscribe. Hillbilly Metal Detecting. I'm gonna run with the big boys. I'm coming, guys. Y'all get ready, Hoover boys. Green Mountain Metal Detecting. Quarter Hoarder. The Hillbilly's coming, man. Appreciate it, guys.